Welcome to the first lecture of SW25X. This course is about case studies in global health. The aim of the course is to give you the tools with which you can look at a global health challenge, a global health delivery challenge, and be able to analyze it using a biosocial perspective. A lot of health problems have biological roots, and they also have social roots. And understanding the biological and social roots of a problem will give you the tools with which you can better analyze what has gone wrong and think about solutions. So today we're going to delve into a very detailed case example, and I don't want people to feel that they don't have the tools yet to analyze it, because what we're trying to do is show people how complex these problems are, how there's a biological component, how there's a social component. And over the next few lectures, we will teach you the tools. And then you'll be able to use the tools in the subsequent lectures to actually be able to analyze case studies on your own. So today's case study is about HIV and tuberculosis in Southern Africa. And before we dive into it, I want to give you a little bit of a glossary of terms for people who aren't familiar with the terminology. So tuberculosis is a disease that's caused by a bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. HIV is a disease caused by a virus called the human immunodeficiency virus. And it infects immune cells, cells that are called CD4 T cells. And when untreated, people get very advanced disease that's called acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS. We also may be referring in this case to types of TB that are very resistant to the medicines that are available right now. So one type of TB that's resistant is called multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, and it's resistant to isoniazid and rifampicin, which are the drugs that are the backbone of the current first-line regimen against TB. Another type of TB that we're going to talk about is XDR TB, extensively drug-resistant tuberculosis. And this type of tuberculosis is resistant not only to the backbone of the first-line drugs, but it's also resistant to the backbone of the second-line regimen. So it's actually very, very difficult to treat. So why don't we begin by looking at the burden of tuberculosis globally? If you look at this graph, according to the World Health Organization, 9 million people every year are infected with tuberculosis and get active disease. Of those 9 million, 6 million are actually discovered by different tuberculosis programs and receive some form of care. And of those 9 million, roughly 570,000 have what's called multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, the type of tuberculosis that's resistant to the backbone of the first-line treatment. Of that group of people, a very small percentage, maybe around 10%, 59,000, actually get care for this form of disease. Now this is important because if you actually get multi-drug resistant TB or any TB and you don't receive treatment, you spread it in the air in your family, to your community, to other people in congregate settings. And if you look at this graph, this is the rise of HIV since the beginning of the HIV epidemic in the early 1990s. And you can see that according to UNAIDS, about 34 million people are estimated to be living with HIV today.